By now, you've probably eaten more chocolate than you can count. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you lovebirds out there. We know it takes a lot to make love last forever. And for those of you in relationships or waiting to start one, you may want to listen to some folks who've been through it all. Our mental health and wellness expert, Jane Marks, and husband, John Marks, stopped by to talk about some black love. But joining us now are the two lovebirds beside me, Jane and John Marks. Happy Valentine's Day to y'all.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you very much. It's a great day. Good.
It definitely is. So it's going on 52 years of marriage for you two. What does it take to get there?
Brittany, I would say staying power. You know, that I think for people who've been together this long, you know, it's funny because John and I were talking about this on the way over here, and you know, it does take intentionality. And what that means is that, you know, we have intentionally we're committed to each other, and certainly empathy and shared values, and we love to sing in the car. There, you know, and we have the same interest, and a certain amount of letting things go. Wouldn't you agree, John?
Well, everything she says, of course, is right. No, but really, there are two things I've always thought that really helps in a marriage. Is two words or phrases you can always say: thank you and please. And don't forget to ever say thank you and please. And those two words will probably carry you through most any situation in a marriage. And I've said that. Another thing, of course, is, you know, from the very beginning of your marriage, you must have an understanding, a very clear understanding of who does what, when, and stick to it. Stick to it as best you possibly can.
Wow. So love tends to give you, we call it the good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's true.
Tell folks about what's worked and what didn't work.
Well, you know, it's funny because I'm going to tell a little secret.
We want to hear it, Jane.
Because the other night, my husband worked my last nerve. And you know how you want to stay mad? You just want to stay mad for like even though we've been married, you know, 52 years, and I've known him for 56 years, still, those are those little things that irk you. And so you're not supposed to go to, you know, I always teach my patients, don't go to bed angry. But you know what? I went to bed angry. So I was planning to stay angry for the next day. He walks in. This is a true story. He walks in, and he pulls out this flower out of in the kitchen, and he comes in and he says, "Will you accept my rose?" Yeah, and the rose is, of course, this is a takeoff from The Bachelor. I couldn't stop laughing because I thought, what is he doing? This is from The Bachelor. He got this from The Bachelor, but you know what? It worked. For 20 minutes, I couldn't stop laughing, and you know, that sort of took care of it. What do you think? And John, what did you say about that this morning, John? You said you were creative.
Well, she didn't tell you the part. She hesitated for a while. No. No, she didn't. She started laughing so hard. I started laughing. We both started laughing, but you know, everything is always not roses, no pun intended, but it's not. And every time sometimes you're going to make some errors. You're going to do some stupid things.
Right.
Yes.
And if you're going to do some dumb, stupid things that you wish you hadn't done. Right. And you got to have a way to, you know, to go smooth over the situation rather than arguing about those things. You know, there may be an argument, but at some point in time, you got to let go. You got to let go and move on if you want to succeed. And I guess we managed to do that.
Going on 52 years, y'all have. So all of that is so true. How do y'all manage to keep that love spicy after such a long time?
Oh, well, you know, I mean, the obvious thing is, you know, where we keep it spicy. We attempt to as much as we possibly can. Let me put it that way, to keep the intimacy there. There are other ways: surprising each other, going out with each other, taking trips with each other. You know, and I tell you, you're talking about Valentine's. Jane hadn't said this, but roses are a commonplace with us. It really is. I would go to, you know, you go to Costco, you can get a dozen roses for $12. Hey guys, you know, go ahead. And I get them, and I know her favorite color, and I get yellow roses for her and take her home. And then I'll buy her candy, which is not what you think it is in the box, but it's some other candy and like that. you know, you do those little things, and I think Jane is right. Do the little things, because you're going to get through the big things eventually. But do the little things, and honest to goodness, it'll make you a better person, a better spouse,
and keep you in the
much better
limelight.
For sure. Well, what message, Lashley, do y'all have for folks who are hoping to share a strong and solid relationship just like you two someday?
Well, I think for couples who really, again, you know, one of the terms I like to use is evenly yoked, and I think that happened for us. We were lucky when we met each other that we shared, you know, again, the same kind of vision and the same kind of values. And so, even if you don't come to that in the beginning, I think it's critical that you continue to establish goals together, you continue to share experiences, and you continue to grow in some fashion. I think that John and I, even though we've been married so many years, we're still growing. We're still working on projects, and we still each bring individual differentness to the relationship. And whether it's my Zumba or whether it's his golf or comedy, there's always something different that we bring to each other. And you know, for him, it was political office at one point. I wasn't on board, but I got on board. And so, you know, I think, you know, it's the personal growth and development that makes for a long-term relationship, and that, you know, that's certainly that purposeful commitment.
You know, I guess I would say, again, it goes back to differences of opinions. You're going to have those. You're going to have, you know, what you want to do and what she wants to do, what your spouse wants to do. But, you know, the biggest difference of opinion in many marriages happens to be finances, money. And you've really got to have a solid understanding of finances. And I have to tell you, from day one, we determined how we were going to do our finances, and we stuck with it. And if you can do that, because that's obviously a sore spot with a lot of people. But then again, the other thing is, you know, you got to really try. You cannot stop. It never stops. It's always a learning process. You're always learning about your spouse. There are things that she does now. I told her the other day, she gave a speech at a place. I said, you know, you were really good. Something that I hadn't heard before. So it never stops. You got to continue on. And continue. It's a long distance race. It's not a sprint. Okay.
It's a journey.
Right. I love that, a journey. And I hope y'all took y'all notepads out, because they dropped some dimes for us today. Well, thank y'all so much for sharing your love with us, and happy Valentine's Day to you both and everybody out there.
Happy Valentine's Day, Brittany.
Happy Valentine's Day. It's a pleasure.